Kerry Sherburn, Senior Editor at What They Think, and I'm here with Vladimir Gendelman, who is with Company Folders. So welcome, Vladimir.
Thank you, Kerry. Thank you for having me on and talk about this important topic of what's going on in Ukraine right now.
Ukraine. Yeah. First, can you start first by just telling us a little bit about your company and your background?
Yes, absolutely. So I started Company Folders back in 2003. Basically, what happened was I was running a computer repair shop where we did a computer repair and networking for people. And one day, a customer asked me, "Hey, you're a computer guy. Can you help us with Company Folders?" My overall mindset and philosophy is that when I service a customer, it doesn't matter what they ask for. It is my job to do whatever they need, right? Because that's how I can bring the most value. And of course, this we're talking about 2003. Internet was at full swing, so I said, of course, I can do that. So I started looking at different options, and I realized that there wasn't that many options available for presentation folders. Now, coming out of Soviet Union, where everything was owned by government, and because of that, there was no way to really stand out and express yourself, right? Because there was maybe 3 to 4 different kind of silverwares and wallpapers, and clothing options were very limited. Everybody ended up having, give or take, similar things. And then I came to America, and you have dozens of cheeses and wallpapers, and clothing is through the roof. Like, everybody can wear something different, and cars and everything, right? So I just was living with the notion that America has options for everything, and you can express yourself any way you want to. And here, all of a sudden, I found myself in a position that I found a hole in American economy or American options where it just doesn't support everything else. So here I am looking for presentation folders for a customer who referred to them as company folders. And I'm realizing that this is the one place where there are no options. So my first thought was, well, they have to fix it. And then the next thought is, who is they? And the next thought, of course, was, well, why not me? And since he said company folders, I named the company folders. And I set on a journey of creating a printing company specializing in presentation folders that offers the largest selection of die cuts, papers, print methods, finishes, and so on and so forth. So we did a fun exercise where we took all the different options that we offer, multiply them between each other, and turns out that we can do over 100 million different variations of our products.
Wow, that's really amazing. And I
Yeah.
understand as part of the business, you have a team that's working with you from Ukraine.
Correct, correct. That team mostly does digital work, such as web development, quality assurance, and design.
And how have they been doing through this uh, unnecessary Russian aggression?
How have they been doing? Well, um, we have 7 people there. One of them was in Lviv, which is basically right at the Russian border. And the moment they started bombing, he was able to cross the border to go to Poland. So he's safe. He's in Poland. He's good. Then we have 4 guys in Kharkiv. Kharkiv is actually where I was born, and it's the city that you saw the most on the news now and uh, in the previous bombing. Um, so the 4 of them were in Kharkiv, and one of them was able to live a day or two into bombing. So he was exposed to it, but not as much. And he moved to Poltava, which is smaller city, more west of Kharkiv. And the others 3 stayed. So the others 3 who stayed there, that was absolutely horrific. Constant bombing, constant loud noises of, rockets falling, airplanes flying, shooting everywhere, fire, to the point where I would talk to them on the phone, right? And as I talked to them, I could hear all those sounds. One time I was on the phone with a guy, his name is Sergey, and all of a sudden I hear the sound. It almost sounded like his whole building came down. And I'm like, whoa, what was that? So it turns out it was something that fell, meaning a rocket, a missile, bomb, whatever, somewhere close by, but not exactly where they were. And it was horrible for me to hear from here. So one of them actually was able to leave the country altogether. So he is in Prague right now, en route to Germany. Sergey is on his way out of the country as well. He actually got permission to leave. And the other guy is in Vinnytsia, and he cannot leave. So outside of that, we also have another guy who was in Dnipropetrovsk, and we instructed him to move over to his sister's, who is about 100 kilometers away. And the guy that we worry about the most is in Nikolaev, and he couldn't leave because he has elder parents and his father can't really move, and he stayed behind to take care of his parents. And it's a very dangerous area to be there, a lot of bombing going on. So our prayers go out to him.
And in terms of the ability for your people to continue to work wherever they are, I mean, they were sort of virtual anyway, right?
Correct.
Have they still been able to support your work during all of this?
How do I answer this properly? Yes, because technically all they need is the internet connection and electricity to do the work, and their computer. However, they also need a mental space. And the mental space right now is not quite there because they have so many other things to worry about.
Right.
Very basic chores, such as go get food at the store, is a big deal because you have to carefully go there. If the sirens come on and bombing starts, you have to run back, right? So sometimes it might take you a few tries to just get to the store. Very limited supplies, very limited products. So you have to go to multiple stores to just get your basic things you need for lunch. Long lines, and sometimes getting food might take half a day.
And sometimes there's nothing there, right? Or
Of
not
course.
enough there.
Of course, that happens also. So you have to keep on going and going, and that's where all the delays come up. But outside of that, what basically the message to them is from the company is, you do whatever you have to do. Like this is the time when you come before the company needs, in the sense that whatever your personal requirements are, personal situation is, that should be taken care of before the company.
So in terms of, so far in terms of communications with them, you've been able to stay in touch to make sure they're safe and so on?
Yeah, so we use Slack, WhatsApp, Skype, and Facebook Messenger to communicate. We have multiple channels just in case something happens with one of them. We could always switch to another. On top of that, I can also call them on the phone, on regular phone. I don't necessarily need to because it works very well via internet right now. But if something was to happen to the internet, we have that option as well. So as long as the internet works, communication has no issues. And of course, thanks to Elon Musk, who gave Ukraine Starlink, which provides the internet.
Yeah, that was really important. And so in talking to your peers in the printing industry or in any industry really, I mean, what are some of the things that you've learned about how to manage these kinds of situations when your teams are in a conflict zone.
Yeah. So the way I see it and practice is it's all about mindset. In business, you typically try and offer the best customer experience to your customers. How do you do that, right? You kind of put on a hat, I am a customer. What would be easiest for me? What would be most comfortable for me? And you give it to them, right? You just create systems and processes and technology that helps your customer. So same thing is here. I'm applying the same mindset. They're having this hardship. If I was in their shoes, what would be the most easiest for me? On top of that, I can actually talk to them direct, right? We have a relationship, and the questions are like, through those conversations, I figure out what helps them the most and give it to them. So obviously, money, obviously, assurance that their job is safe, that they're going to get paid whether they work or not, nothing to worry about there. Another thing we did was we consulted with the ex-Army colonel who gave us general ideas on Army strategies. So basically, the important objects that Ukraine would want to protect and Russians would want to capture. And based on that information, we pulled up everybody's addresses on Google just to see where they were, and we instructed few people to actually move out of the areas they were in, and we told them which areas to go to that would be safer, and that turned out to be exactly correct. So for example, the guy who was in Dnipropetrovsk, when I pulled up his address on Google Maps, he was very close to the river, right by the bridges, and he was in between two bridges, very close to one that had railroads go over it, and that's a very strategically important spot to protect and capture. And I told him that, listen, if something happens, you're going to be right in the middle of it. Go to your sisters. And his sister lives 100 kilometers away west. So he did, and then he sent me a message a day or two later saying, hey, you were right. There was a diversion to blow up the bridge. Luckily, it didn't happen. It didn't work out. But in either case, he would have been right in the middle of it all.
Yeah, better safe than sorry, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Little motto there. It's just, it's really tragic, but it's for them, they're lucky to have your infrastructure to support them through this difficult time.
Yeah, the way I see it, unfortunately, I couldn't do what I really want to do, which would be to come in there and kind of yank them out of that situation. But I guess we have to work with what we have.
Yeah. And do you see that there's opportunity to get them some supplies or medical, products, or I mean, or is it just money right now?
So as of right now, that has not been an issue. Outside of this, I'm working with other entrepreneurs. We have people in Poland and Germany. So what happens is we're getting lists of supplies that people need in Ukraine. We raise money here, we send it to Poland, we send it to Germany. They buy those supplies, they drive them to the border, and then there are volunteers who take it from the border to places in Ukraine that actually need those products.
That's great that you're doing that work.
Yeah.
The international community and the NGOs and so on, I mean, they're trying to do what they can, but it's just overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. So far, it seems that the grassroots operations are way more effective than NGOs.
Well, we really wish you and your team all the best, and we hope everybody stays safe. And as you said, their personal safety is more critical right now than getting the work done, but hopefully they're still able to support you to some extent as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Kerry.
Yeah. And we, you know, this is just another way to get the message out to people. I mean, your president spoke yesterday. It was quite emotional to
Very
hear him
emotional.
speak yesterday.
Very
in
emotional.
Congress. Let's just hope that it you know, it helps move things along and end this thing.
Yeah, I'm totally there with you. The sooner it ends, the better.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
people
thank
are
you very much
suffering,
for,
dying, and
yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your story. And again, we wish your people all the safety they can find over there.
Thank you, Kerry. Thank you for having me on and spreading the message.